You're one race into the round of 12 now in the Cup Series, Lewis, and is it just me? It seems like this has just been a very bizarre playoff so far. I mean, you lose two champions in the first round. Joey Logano goes out. Kevin Harvick goes out. And I'm looking right now at the top six in the standings, and 5 of the top 6 right now have not won championships. Martin Truex Jr. is the only one in the top 6 that has a championship to his name. Is that strange, or is it just the way the playoffs are?
Well, isn't it strange that non-playoff contenders won so many races last year in the championships? Yes. I think, it's interesting. Second year of the next-gen car, and you're still seeing troubles with wheels. And it actually comes through the television, the stress. You and I have been around a year or two, and Bob, every race is stressful and important. I seem to see more mistakes. I don't know about if Kyle Busch's wheel problem was a pit crew thing or the wheel actually breaking off, but that's the crazy part that I'm seeing in the playoffs. Not so much the drivers, but it must be very intense to be a pit crew person these days.
Yeah, Bob, as you look at it, I mean, Lewis made a great point. Last year, the first round of the playoffs was all won by non-playoff drivers. We haven't seen any non-playoff drivers win this year, which is more normal. But it just seems like guys with the most experience are having the most trouble. Are you on mute, Bob? We're not hearing you.
Okay. Here you go.
We got you.
That?
Great.
I was having my Martin Truex Jr. moment. As I was saying, Martin Truex Jr. Almost not making it out of the first round, I think was surprising. Like that, we hadn't seen that in a first round of a regular season champion being on the brink. I think every playoffs has a little bit of crazy and shock to them. Nothing is going to be more shocking than the Hail Melon last year, I don't think. So until you see a move like that, you look ahead of kind of what's in store. And you think about last year, and you had Christopher Bell walk-off win at the Charlotte Road Course, walk-off win at Martinsville on the same day of Ross Chastain's Hail Melon. And, things can't get much crazier than that, can they?
You're the guy who said never say never on this show not so long ago. So, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The thing is, you look at the guys who came in like with the most playoff points or carry the most playoff points right now. And the guy with the 4th most playoff points is Kyle Larson, who right now, Lewis, is only 2 above the cut line.
But as we said, though, it's a Hendricks car. He's a champion. So, these 2 races, wild cards, as we said, you asked me about crazy. I think back to the year that Ryan Newman made it all the way to Homestead. He just kind of like bunted his way in there. And as being a curmudgeon like I am, I was kind of rooting for him that year. You cannot, you don't know what you don't know here. That's what makes this racing. I was against all of this. I'm old school, but they have done a great job with the rules because you stream a movie now. No one goes anymore. I don't know. Maybe people go to Top Gun Part 2, but you don't want to know the outcome. You have the favorites, but anything can happen, and that's what makes this fun.
Well, and that's the thing. And as you look at this, even with 2 races to go in this round, we know William Byron's through to the round of 8, Bob. Hamlin's plus 37 at this point, so you feel like over the 2 races, he's probably in pretty good shape. But beyond that, and I keep going back to the stages, and I think people forget about, they're kind of points that get lost to people because you can pick up a lot of points in those, in the 2 stages. And, Chris Buescher right now sitting there 3rd plus 22 to the cut line. If he has problems early at Talladega, or if he's outside the top 10 on both of those stages, that 22 points disappears pretty quickly, doesn't it?
It does, depending on who gets those points and who also either has trouble or doesn't have trouble. And I think that's the crazy part about Talladega. I mean, you heard Denny Hamlin even talk about that he should drive close to some of the drivers who are right there at the cut line, because he figures if he gets in a wreck, they'll be in the wreck too. And so they'll all lose the points together, and that's the way he can manage that gap. So then you get to the road course, the Charlotte road course, and it's probably a little bit different of an animal. But yeah, I think that's kind of probably the way some of those drivers look at it and say, hey, if the people I'm racing for spots are right next to me, I'm okay, because the way things happen at Talladega, it's not a 1-car deal. It's a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-car deal.
So then Denny gets to get out of the car and go, I made out beating your driver, but I wrecked with him.